Well, good night, beautiful people. Just driving back home from work. Admittedly, I'm probably more than halfway there. I was listening to some music and stuff like that. Kind of got in this little dead zone where I don't get much signal, so I figured it'd be a good time to record. Excuse me. My sinuses and allergies have definitely been going into overdrive. I know this morning I talked about the Zyrtec that I was going to take and everything. So I did take that Zyrtec this morning before going to the gym and everything like that. And I was still sneezing, nose has been running all day. And I looked because I was like, man, usually Zyrtec works for me. So came out to my car around lunchtime, came out here, looked, and I was like, I'll be dang. The Zyrtec that I have is like expired by a whole year because I don't really take medicine hardly ever. Like I don't even take Tylenol, ibuprofen, or nothing usually. It's kind of funny being in healthcare. I'm like very anti-medicine in a way. I think it stems from my childhood. Growing up, there was a lot of. I grew up around a lot of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and various other kind of abuses of stuff, and seeing what the addictions and stuff like that my family faced and I grew up around. So I think part of me just steers clear of it because of what I was raised around. But then another part of me, the analytical part, I realize everything has side effects and it's going to have long-term effects. Like even Tylenol. I mean, Tylenol is processed by your liver. So, I mean, if you take Tylenol every day for, 10, 20 years, it's going to have some effect on your liver. Not saying it's going to put you into liver failure or anything, but to say it's not going to have any effect at all would definitely be a horrible statement to make. And then ibuprofen, or pretty much all the NSAIDs, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs for short. That's your naproxens, ibuprofens, things of that nature. Those are usually processed through your kidneys. That's why a lot of times when you go to the clinic or a doctor or something like that, they'll tell you to stagger or alternate between Tylenol and ibuprofen for your fevers and pain and stuff like that. That's because the Tylenol gets processed through your liver. The ibuprofen, majority of it gets processed through your kidneys. So by staggering them or alternating between the two, you are getting two different types of medication. Both help relieve pain and fever in various ways, but it also doesn't put a lot of strain on your kidney or liver because you're alternating between the two. Just a little piece of info there for you on why your doctor might say that when he sends you home. But with that said, I really don't take ibuprofen or Tylenol either that much. Like if I have a headache, I usually don't take anything. Headaches are usually a sign of something going on. So, for instance, like if I have a headache, I'm like, okay, have I slept enough? Maybe I need to go to sleep. Have I been drinking enough water? Maybe I'm not hydrated. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe that's the problem. Have I been looking at a screen too long? The light from computers and phones and stuff like that can give you a headache if you're in front of screens for too long. That's why Some people wear those, I think they're called blue light glasses, and that's to help with the strain and headaches that they get from looking at computer screens all day. Or in my case, like right now, with all this allergies and sinuses and stuff going on right now, sometimes people can get sinus headaches. And, admittedly, if I have a sinus headache, I might actually take some Tylenol for that. But with that being said, I mean, the same goes for allergy medicine. I don't take antihistamines or allergy medicines very often, except for when I feel like I need them. I've tried Claritin, Benadryl, Zyrtec, Allegra. I've tried different ones, different times throughout my life. I found that Zyrtec just seems to hit the spot usually. So I bought a bottle of Zyrtec, I don't even know how many years ago, but obviously I have not been taking it too frequently because the thing expired July of last year and I still probably got like half a bottle. But yeah, so I feel like thought I was gonna knock this thing in the bud, or at least put a dent in it. And I'm over here taking an expired medication that is probably on its like third half-life or something like that, which means it's not very potent. However, you don't really know after the expiration like how many half-lives you have. Of course, there's like the science behind it, but nobody wants to really do that much math and research and stuff like that unless you're just totally nerding out on that stuff. And admittedly, I don't even nerd out that hard. That's a whole nother level of nerding out on medicine. But so tomorrow I'll probably toss this bottle of Zyrtec and get me another bottle. Obviously, I'll just buy whatever small bottle, the smallest one available. And I'll probably take it for 3 to 5 days, maybe a week total at the most. Basically, I'll take it long enough to get all this kind of cleared out and probably add 2 days on top of it. That's usually kind of how I do allergy medicine when I have these allergy flares up, because I kind of have them kind of sporadic in a way. Like there'll be some years I won't even have it at all, like spring, fall, summer, and then sometimes, especially around this time of year, really, yeah, kind of the August, September time frame. I feel like it's kind of around hurricane season down here in the southeast United States is when it hits me. So maybe it's some of the weather, like some of the hurricanes and tropical storms and just the weather in general, kind of bringing some of those winds from locations that I'm not used to, and I'm getting some of the pollen and stuff that I'm not used to breathing in, and it just affects me or something. Again, that's just my theory, because like I said, there'll be some years I go the whole year, not have one single problem. Next year, I'll sit there and be sneezing my head off, get a sinus drainage, post-nasal drip and everything going. And then I think it was like, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was like right when COVID was on the decline. I got a really bad sinus infection, actually. And I thought I'd gotten like a funky strand of COVID, because we were coming out of COVID during that time, like 4 years ago. And my COVID, RSV, flu, basically a full respiratory panel, flu A, flu B, all that good stuff, all that came back negative. And I remember I told them I felt like it was my sinuses, but you talk to people and they don't always believe you. And the reason I thought it was my sinuses is because, like I said, I've battled with this my whole life, really, where it'll kind of hit me, come and go, hit me. And there's something called the TAPS test that I learned when I was a medic in the Army. And what they would do to see if it's your sinuses, a lot of times, especially if for sinus infections, if it's gotten to that point, is they will take two fingers basically and tap on either side of your, like right above your cheekbone. So you got your cheekbone that's kind of like on the either side of your face, below your eyes, and they'll kind of tap it kind of hard. And if it's real sensitive, that usually means there's some inflammation and stuff inside your sinus cavity. And that is usually kind of a telltale sign that you probably got like some sinus infection or something going on with your sinuses. Just something you can kind of do at home if you think you might have a sinus infection. Again, not a true diagnostic tool, but something you can use to kind of put you in the right direction. So basically, you just take someone that's looking all puffy and got bad allergies, possible sinus infection. You tap both sides of their, kind of like where their sinus cavity would be. And if they kind of draw back like it hurt, or they're like, ow, or try to punch you or something, it usually means there's some kind of inflammation or something going on that's irritating the sinuses. And normally that is a huge indicator that there is probably a sinus infection, or one is trying to brew at least. So I think I had that like 3 or 4 years ago. Like I said, pretty sure it was 4 years ago. I want to say that's when I probably bought that bottle of Zyrtec, actually. It was about 4 years ago. And it's just been chilling in my car, which, admittedly is not a good place to store your medication either, because of the cold and heat over the past 4 years. But even though I'm in healthcare, I know these things. Obviously, I don't abide by all the rules. No one ever does. But with that said, I'll probably give me some more tomorrow, just a little bottle. Toss this one. Take it for like 3-5 days, maybe a week at the most. Clear this up and go about my day. Go about my life, not my day. Because it'll be more than a day for sure. But with that said, I know medications can be really expensive for people, especially around COVID flu season, which is coming up. So I will say the best thing to do if you're kind of struggling financially, again, I come from living on food stamps and stuff like that with my grandmother, who was basically, we lived on Social Security checks and, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, all that good stuff. And we were on that struggle bus, so I know how all that is. I mean, we depended on other family members to come pick us up to take us to doctor's appointments. Like, we didn't even have a way of going, really. And, I come from that background. I know the struggles of that stuff. And I will say that if you're in that kind of situation, or you're just one of those people that is just real frugal with your money or doesn't like to waste money, one thing that you can do is you can look up, especially, it's so much easier now because of all the technology we have, but you can look up a medication like Zyrtec or Allegra or Claritin or Tylenol or Motrin or Robitussin or Dayquil, NyQuil, Sudafed. You can look up all these drugs and figure out what their generic name is, because usually if you know a drug, like your common drugs, like let's say Tylenol is an easy one. Everybody knows what Tylenol is. You know, everybody uses it for, oh, I got a fever, let me get some Tylenol, drop my fever. Oh, I got a headache, let me get some Tylenol, drop my, headache. Oh, I got my elbow's bothering me a little bit, pop a few Tylenol. Oh, my elbow's all better, yada, yada, yada. So, everybody knows what Tylenol is, pretty much. So, if you wanted to save some money, instead of buying the actual Tylenol, which is what's called a brand name, because you're buying the brand, the actual drug that is in Tylenol is acetaminophen. So you can look a lot of these what's called generic names up, and it's basically the same medication. And a lot of times you can save yourself, a couple dollars here and there. Sometimes it can save you a lot of money, really, depending on what the drug is. But if you can learn the generic names for some of the more common drugs that you would probably use around your house, it can save you a lot of money. That's just a little tidbit for your budget there. So, for instance, I think, let me not lie, I can't remember what Zyrtec is. I know it starts with like a C, I'm pretty sure. I'd just look on the back of the bottle or Google it, and I can figure it out real quick. So, for instance, like even though I'm in a position that I'm not on, food stamps, Medicaid, and stuff like that in my life at this point, I'm still nowhere near being like a millionaire. And also, I come from that background, so I'm very humble and budget conscious as a person. So for me, I don't really buy the brand name of medications at all. I usually always buy the generic if I can, and that saves me a lot of money throughout the year. For instance, like Tylenol, you probably won't find a Tylenol bottle in my car or at my house. It'll be acetaminophen, because you can go to Walmart or Dollar General. Tylenol will run you, let's say, $10, and the acetaminophen is $7.50. Oh crap, that's $2.50 you saved. Doesn't seem like, a drastic amount of money you've saved, but you add that up over a lifetime or over several different drugs that you've chosen to do that to, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I've saved $300 this year by buying generic drugs instead of the big name brand ones. Somebody done got pulled over here. Hopefully they weren't like drinking and driving or something. But yeah, buying the generic brand or generic name of the drug is a cheaper option a lot of times, and it's the route that I go, and I'm still living, and it works. So why spend the extra money? And that honestly, that's usually a good outlook on life. Is you want to kind of go to if you're smart with your money, so to speak, you usually go for the middle ground in general, whether that be clothes, cars, houses, or anything really. To get the best bang for your buck, usually you want to go to the middle ground. If you cheap out on stuff, a lot of times it breaks real easy. You wind up having to replace it, stuff like that. And then a lot of times if you buy too expensively, it's like you later regret it, or I don't know, it's just like you feel kind of foolish later. You're like, oh man, I could have bought this other thing that does what I needed this thing to do for half the price. Or at least I feel that way. A good example would be, for instance, like headphones. So I was recently headphone shopping, and I'm not going to buy the top brand headphones that cost like, you know, $600 to $1,000, because I mean they make headphones that cost $1,000. It's wild. But at the same time, I'm not going to buy the Dollar General headphones that are $5 that sound like Mickey Mouse is talking to me the entire time I'm trying to listen to music. I want to kind of go in that middle of the pack, buy something that's going to last me. So what I wound up buying is I wound up buying the Skull Crusher Aints. Really good headphones. I really like them. Skull Crusher is known for having like strong bass in their headphones, and admittedly, I mainly bought the headphones for the gym, and I like to listen to rock, rap, stuff like that when I'm working out. So I like the bass. But the Skull Candy Inc. ANC, they actually teamed with Bose, which Bose makes super expensive headphones. I mean, I'm talking about $500-$600 headphones, and they're a lot of times considered one of the best quality headphone brand. So for the Skull Candy Inc., Skull Candy and Bose got together on those and developed something that's kind of that perfect mid-range like I like. I basically, I think those headphones usually go for like $129. I, of course, waited till they went on sale because I'm a frugal guy. And I was already kind of doing some research on it. And I was going to order it off of Amazon because Amazon, they went on sale at Amazon for like, I think like $99. And I was like, oh, that's great. So I put it in the cart and I let it just sit there for a little bit. Because I was like, let me see if I can find it cheaper on like Best Buy or something before I just pull the trigger. Like, I know these are the ones I want, but let me see if I can get them in the color that I want and stuff, and for somewhere cheaper. And lo and behold, guess where I wound up getting them at? Walmart. I found the exact headphones that I wanted to buy, the color, everything at Walmart for $79. And like I said before, usually they're like $129, I think. So right there saved like, $50, a little bit more, $50-$60, somewhere in there. And that would be like one of those middle of the pack kind of things. Some other examples would be, probably your AirPods. Your AirPods. Don't kid yourself. Those things, they might be $100-$200, but that is not. It might seem top tier, but it is not top tier. I have some friends that have those $1,000 headphones that I mentioned before. You put them things on, and those AirPods that cost you $200-$300 or whatever sound like crap compared. But at the same time, is it really worth $1,000? Like, the AirPods will get you to where you want to be, or the Skull Candies in my case will get you what you need, and then you can save that other $800-$900 and buy something else. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. It's like, how much is this really worth it to you? Good headphones for the gym, worth about $150 to me personally. The last headphones I had were the Pixel Buds. I got them with my phone when I bought the Pixel 6, which is actually the same phone I have now. I think they're at like the Pixel 10 now, and I'm still over here rocking the Pixel 6, loving it. If you're a team iPhone and you're wanting to jump ship, I cannot recommend the Pixel brand of phones to you enough. Pixel is, I went from iPhone to Pixel, and I will never go back the Pixel brand, it has kind of some of the functionality of the iPhone, so it's an easy switch. I don't think many people, if they switch from iPhone to the Pixel, they'll notice that big of a difference as far as like the way it's kind of laid out, like the actual phone itself. And like I'm rocking the Pixel 6. My wife, she's probably gonna switch if we upgrade phones, but right now she's got like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I believe. And my Pixel 6, as old as it is, actually takes better photos than her iPhone 13 Pro Max. And also with the Google Pixel system, you can, they have the magic eraser, where like if you have people in the background, you can like erase them from the background of your picture and stuff. That's not something that they have on the iPhone, or at least they haven't yet. I'm assuming at some point they'll get it. And now the Pixel team has actually came out with kind of the same software they're using for the Magic Eraser for pictures. They're now doing that for audio. So you can take a video like this and dissect the different sounds in the video and remove background noise on like the newest one. I don't know if I can do it on this one. I haven't really tried. And that's the other thing with the Pixel is if your phone that you have, like I have the Pixel 6, you get like 4 years of updates. So they're coming out. This will probably be the last year I think that I get the updates. And if your phone is capable, like meaning it has the software built in already to handle those kind of things, you'll get the update for free. And it's like you almost get, like even though I got the Pixel 6, it's more like I got the Pixel 8 or Pixel 7X or something like that maybe. Even though technically I got the Pixel 6 because of those updates that I was able to get. So I recommend the Pixel to people all the time. I could never go back to the iPhone. I think whenever I get ready to get another phone, which will probably when this one, kicks the bucket, because I'm one of those kind of people that just sticks with a phone for forever, I will most likely, I'm really leaning towards the Pixel Fold, like the foldable phone. I like, so far from what I've looked at, which I'm not phone shopping right now, so I hadn't really looked too much in it. But the little bit that I have seen, I like what I'm seeing. It is an expensive phone, though. Like I can just get like the newest Pixel for probably like $500-$600 cheaper. So I don't know if I'll be getting the Pixel Fold. I don't know if I can justify that in my mind to spring the extra $500-$600 for a phone. But with all that said, to summarize kind of what I've been talking about tonight, I know I like to ramble. I do apologize for that a little bit. But I'm doing this raw. I'm just talking what's on my mind, what's going on. I try to keep it on one topic or one synopsis of topics, so to speak. But to kind of summarize this video here, I'm just saying, be conscious of what you're choosing with your money and stuff like that. If you can, and what you're just choosing in general, not just with your money, just in life in general. I choose not to go down certain paths or even put myself in certain positions because I know what it can bring. For instance, my family has horrible addiction issues, whether it be drug, alcohol, whatever. So And I recognize like I do have an addictive personality at times. So for me, it's like I'm not gonna go and gamble. Like I do not gamble because I know most likely I will enjoy it and I will get addicted to it because I know I have that addictive personality in a way. I don't. I drank a little bit when I was in the army, and I mean, I was drinking every weekend, drinking like a fiend, blacking out, everything, and I got away from it. So now I don't really drink because I already know what that can do to a family, because of what it did to my family. I know what it can do. It can turn a very great man into a pure asshole and a horrible human being um, when he drinks liquor. Like I've seen it firsthand with my uncles and grandpas and stuff like that. Um, so I mean I drink maybe 1-2 times a year at this point, just because I realize that stuff. I mean I have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and I know how the things that my grandfather did when he was drunk and drinking and stuff was not. It's the stuff that you see on them Lifetime movies and stuff like that makes you want to take them out back and shoot them. Like I grew up in a sexually abusive home and physically abused and stuff like that, and I mean I came out of it, so I'm not trying to be on anybody's pity party. I might do a video about kind of that stuff, talking about what I come from, because I know a few people at work that kind of know what I come from. They're amazed by it, and my wife and family are like my wife and her family are astounded that, because they know everything, and well, I say everything. They don't know all the tiny details, but they pretty much know kind of what I grew up around. And for them, they can't believe I'm doing the things that I'm doing, coming from what I come from. So I mean, I might talk a bit about that in one of these videos one day, and that'll just kind of be like a heart to heart. I don't think that'll be this video, but the biggest thing is just choices. I choose not to gamble. I choose not to drink because I know once I go down that path, I know I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy hanging out with people drinking, and then one thing's going to lead to another and lead to another, and then all of a sudden nobody's happy. I don't go to strip clubs again. I mean, I'm married. I want to stay with my wife. I don't see the point in it. I've honestly, that is one thing I've been to before. When I was in the army, I went to strip clubs and stuff. I honestly have never gotten the appeal. Maybe it's because I was always a smooth talker as a teenager and 20-year-old stud while I was in the military. Like I never had problems going to like the bar and picking up ladies, or going to a college party and getting someone's number, or going back to someone's dorm room, or going back to my dorm room, or XYZ. Like I never had problems with that. So I never got the appeal of strip clubs, because to me it's like a tease. Like I'd rather go out and actually physically get a woman and then have fun. Like I don't get the strip club thing, which to each your own. I know some people that enjoy it, but I don't do that anymore at all. That was all before I was married. Now I don't do it just out of just a respect thing for my wife. I don't think that's my personal opinion. I don't think it's a respectful thing to do. I mean, I still go to Hooters now, or places like that. I know some people say going to Hooters is disrespectful, which, well, now Hooters is shut down, or at least the ones around me are. But I mean, me and my wife went to Hooters together a couple of times, and sitting there and watched soccer games, and was eating Daytona Honey Beach wings, which is by far my favorite wing. And Hooters was the only place that you could get Daytona Honey Beach wings. And my wife, she's a big soccer fan. She played soccer. So we would, kind of watch some sports and stuff together, and sit there and eat wings and have a good time. But my wife, she's not she's the jealous type a little bit. She's Latina, so she's got that Latina temper. But at the same time, I feel like she's comfortable being with me. She doesn't stress too much about stuff like that. And anyone that's seen my wife knows, I am a very lucky man, and I definitely struck gold. So I'm not trying to trade in the gold for a little piece of silver here or there. But making choices in those kind of things, because I want to. My biggest goal in life is to change my family tree. Moving forward, I was the first one to graduate high school and stuff like that, as far as like grandkids, as far as I know at least. First one to go to college, ASN, BSN. Now I'm finishing a master's degree. Me and my wife are working hard, not only to own our house, but to eventually have rental properties and businesses and things of that nature, to build a foundation for the rest of our family moving forward. I mean, that's pretty much the overarching goal of everything that me and my wife are doing right now. And so, I mean, if it doesn't fit in line with that goal, I'm choosing the options that fit in line with that overarching theme versus the ones that don't. And then when you talk about money, I mean, like I gave the example of Tylenol versus acetaminophen. I'm going to choose the cheaper option. I'm going to choose the acetaminophen, save $2.50. I'm going to choose to buy ibuprofen rather than Motrin. Just things like that. Those little small choices, they add up, and in my opinion, those small choices that you make shows the character of who you really are. Like for me, I mean, I come from humble beginnings. It's very hard for me to go to, for instance, like Starbucks. I mean, even though I make decent money doing everything that I'm doing right now, and every once in a while I love coffee, but for me to go to like Starbucks or something, for one, way too many freaking options. I never know what to order. That's one red flag for me. The only time I do know what to order is like during Christmas time, and they have dang, I cannot think of the name of it, but they have one drink during like Christmas time that I really like. So when that's around, I get that. I think it's called like caramel brulee latte or something like that. I don't even know. I think that's what it is. But I really like that, and I get that around Christmas time every once in a while. But for me, it's like going to Starbucks and spending, $7 or $10 on a drink. It just strikes me, and I'm like, I could literally make something, I ain't gonna say it's gonna be exactly like it, but I can make something pretty daggum close for probably $1.50 at my house if I bought all the stuff and made it, and then I could keep making it for the next month for the price of like 2 or 3 of these at Starbucks. So for me, it's like, I think like that. And then it's like when I buy tires for the car, I'm like, okay, I don't want the cheap tires because I don't want to replace them in, 3 months from now. But I'm sure as heck not buying, supercar tires to put on a Nissan Rogue, which is what I'm driving. And even that there, I mean, I'm driving a Nissan Rogue as my travel vehicle back and forth to work. I'm not driving an M3 or nothing crazy like that. My wife, right now she has the Chevy Traverse. I think she has a XLT or whatever. It's kind of the bigger one, and it has third row seating for the kids and family and everything. But we're probably going to eventually trade that in and go back to having a truck, because we bought the third row just in case we were going to have more kids. We've pretty much kind of decided at this point that we're not going to have any more kids. I think we're set where we are. So we figured that with the size of our family, we could get a full-size pickup or an extra large pickup that has a bench seat in the front, and that could pretty much hold the entire family even if we had everybody. And most of the time we probably wouldn't even need the bench seat. So I mean, we've looked at stuff like that, and I think that's moving forward. Probably 3 years from now or 2 years from now, we'll probably swap hers out for a truck at some point, and then I'll still be rocking the Nissan Rogue as my little back and forth to work. I mean, this thing has been great. I bought it when it was 60k miles, and I got 180 on it, and I mean, I drive it back and forth to work all the time. I love it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the overall summary is just, choices. Everything is about choices, and I feel like the small choices you make in life basically show who you are as a person at a more deeper level. But all of y'all have a good night. Don't forget to spend time with the family. Smack the old lady on the butt, let her know you love her, kiss the kids, and just be the person you are and have a great life.